Good afternoon and Happy New Year to our listening audience. My name is George Smith. I have the pleasure of serving as the director of Michigan State University AgBioResearch, and I'm here with my good friend and a big friend of AgBioResearch and MSU Extension, Senator Roger Victory. Roger, welcome.
Well, good. Welcome to be on board here, George. And I kind of busy schedule, so kind of not the office setting, but more in the pickup truck setting. So hopefully it all comes through. And this is I call my mobile office, and this is where this truck has traveled all parts of the state of Michigan 10 times over.
Gotta love technology, Senator. I'm right there with you. So, kind of diving into this, um, we know you have a deep background in agriculture. We know you're committed to addressing issues that impact agriculture. And as we kind of kick our conversation off, tell us a little bit about your personal background in agriculture and talking a little bit more about the industry, which is the state's second largest economic driver. What do you hear from your constituents? What do you hear from farmers and agriculture industry representatives about the needs of Michigan agriculture going forward?
Well, George, a little bit about my background. Roger Victory, some call me Farmer Raj, some call me Senator. I rather go by the name of Farmer Raj because people appreciate farmers more than elected officials. And that's honestly true. If I'm traveling, people don't even want to talk in airports or things of that nature, but I usually wear a hat that kind of associates with something from the district or agriculture. And usually, I tell you what, strikes a very unique conversation and a story. So no matter what we're how traveling about, have something relating to Michigan and Michigan agriculture and some things we do here. And I discovered there is a real unique desire to of people of understanding agriculture and where their food comes from. And Michigan, boy, we are blessed with the diversity. The saying is we're the second most diverse state in agriculture. And as a politician, I'll rephrase that as we're the most diverse agricultural state in the nation with water. And when you tell people that, then they have a
Amen.
follow up another conversation. So those are issues. As when I bring up water, that's an issue that's very concerning to people too. And how
Right.
does that blend with agriculture? We also have no concern about who's going to be the generation that takes over. I used to felt I was young, but now you can see I have that gray hair coming in place, fortunately, in that area. That where's the future? And also, is there economic climate to attract those young people? I mean, everybody loves a passion getting out there, working with the earth, animal husbandry, and those type of things. But there also has to have a financial reward for that. I mean, you got to be able to support your family. It's also agriculture is very consuming of time. So in today's society, there have to have some rewards for all that time and commitment you put into the agricultural area. And that's some areas of concern. People say, hey, how do we retain these young people? And with it being a very intense capital industry. So you got to raise a lot of capital entry barrier. That's why one of the biggest areas of entry restriction is that capital and how do you break into some of these areas that sometimes you're growing a commodity.
Yeah, Senator, you hit on some really, really timely issues that we know are front and center for our farmers in the state and really are of societal significance as well. Like you, I have strong roots in agriculture. It's part of my passion. I grew up on a farm and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today if it wasn't for that experience. And
Mhm.
it's just tragic when you hear of multi-generational farms that have been successful, that have been helping to feed the world and really contributing to food security, contributing to the economy in the state of Michigan. And the next generation has to sit back and question, is there a future for me or not? And we look at the average age of farmers nationally, I think it's over 58 years old. And how do we provide opportunities for the next generation of farmers to ensure we have the individuals that can really help feed the world and address these societal problems? And I would argue that research and extension are a big part of the path forward and the solution. Trying to do the research, to trying to provide the data, the programs, practical solutions to the challenges farms face. So the next generation says, hey, I really can make a living. Or folks that don't come from an agricultural background that want to get into farming don't look at the landscape and the barriers and say, it's impossible. I can't do it. So right there with you, really, really important issues. So maybe share a little bit from your viewpoint. You touched on it already about the diversity of agriculture in Michigan, how it makes Michigan special, and how do these diverse partnerships in Michigan agriculture contribute to success of the industry as a whole?
Well, George, I think we want to build on, we talk about the aging of the agriculture, the producers, the farmers, but with the diversity that we have in Michigan, I think we open up opportunities too, because uh, I see with some more niche areas, how does a 20-something-year-old get into this passion of industry and a journey of life? I know I was down to the National Cattlemen's Association about a year ago, and I was really taken back by a lot of the young couples because, and actually, their connectivity to buying beef directly, and that's where I think government could be in a role. How to remove those barriers that, as you can build a business up direct to consumers. And one thing in Michigan, we have a pretty large population. Some of the areas we call our urban rural connection, some call that can be an adversarial thing with agriculture production. I like to reframe that. I think that's where our possibility is, because you could have a operation with beef, vegetables, you name it, wherever areas value added, and you have a customer base that's nearby for that marketing that other states you don't have that opportunity.
Yeah, spot on, Senator. Looking at the opportunities for the next generation in terms of being entrepreneurial and looking at a local regional foods perspective, new markets, and how to help them not just raise the food, but cover the whole spectrum of farm to fork and
Mhm.
creating new opportunities can be really critical. And also important to, food security as a country going forward in the future. A lot of our specialty crops are raised out west, and they've had huge
Mhm.
challenges out west with issues with, extreme weather. And Michigan's poised to play an even bigger role in food security in the future. And I think what you talked about is going to be certainly fundamental to those opportunities and capitalizing on the strengths we have and providing more opportunities for the current generation and the next generation that's interested in agriculture. So, kind of pivoting a little bit to research, me, a topic that's near and dear to my heart. Um, so, why is research such an important contributor to Michigan agriculture and that aspect of the Michigan economy? And what do you see as some of the challenges facing Michigan agriculture that the legislature should look to make sure are addressed when supporting research and research funding?
Well, one is I think we are well equipped in the state of Michigan with some of the opportunities that we have, such as the AAA Animal Ag Alliance and
Mhm.
Project Green. This and reason why I'm so passionate about these two funding streams, they're not ad hoc funding. These
Mhm.
are dedicated streams that, regardless of the budget cycles, traditionally they have been in play. And the history of Project Green, it speaks for itself. AAA Animal Ag Alliance, that funding, that research area is something more new, but also has been showing results. I mean, look in the dairy industry of how some of the new feeding ratios and things of utilizing the soybean ratio and how much is adding to the bottom line. You, Mark, can correct me, but like $1 per day
Mhm.
value per head. I mean, those are real numbers. That
Mhm.
that can make a difference of a producer being in business or out of business, and regardless what size of your operation. So think of that. We need to continue to highlight that, and I'm talking as Farmer Raj now. we need to highlight that to Senator Roger Victory and put that in that financial equation because at the state level, everybody's competing for those precious few dollars.
Uh,
And we need to be able to tell the story, and that's why it's critical to have elected officials that understand it. But it's not just elected officials. We need those involved in the industry. We need those producers. Those younger producers are coming up, and those more seasoned producers that we get out there and tell the story to elected officials. It might be at the local level, it may be at the state level, it may be at the national level. But don't be quiet about it because if you are quiet, someone else will take that oxygen out of the room and tell their story. So don't be bold, be passionate, and be out front speaking your story and getting in front of your local, state, and national elected officials.
well, here, Farmer Raj, you can see the big smile on my face, and you talked about two of our signature programs that are really, really special to the state of Michigan, special to Michigan agriculture, that have a huge impact. Talking about the diversity of agriculture in the state, and all of our commodity groups and general farm organizations work together. What's good for Michigan agriculture as a whole, they get behind and support. And just to add a little bit more regarding the two programs you talked about, Project Green has been in existence. It's in its 27th year. It's a little over a $5 million investment each year from the state of Michigan. That's part of our recurring funding line for ag bioresearch and extension. The first 20 years of Project Green, the economic return to the state of Michigan was over $2.5 billion with a B. To me, that's pretty
That's
good
serious
return.
money.
That's serious money.
That
I'd
is
love to
that
be
we're
getting
talking
that on
serious
my
money.
investments as everyone would. That's serious money. That's a huge
Mm-hmm.
return on investment, but we can't take that for granted. Like you said, we have to tell that story. And you hit on a really, really timely example of the impact of Michigan Alliance for Animal Agriculture funding as well. And that's the new discoveries that have changed how opportunities to feed dairy cows and get a better return on investment by feeding, a specific type of soybeans, which are high in oleic acid, and what farmers are seeing in the process is a return on investment over $1 per cow per day. In the industry, if you can do
Wow,
something that
amazing.
that that moves the needle 5 to 6 cents, that's big. Dairy farmers take interest in that. Our producers who have talked about this have said their words, $1 per cow per day. That is a generational discovery that is going to have huge impact for the dairy industry, and helps our soybean growers because here's another market for their product, raising this specific type of soybeans that are high in this fatty acid that has benefits for dairy cattle. So all of agriculture benefits from that. That discovery wouldn't have happened without the support from the state of Michigan for the Michigan Alliance for Animal Agriculture. And that's just one example. So we're really proud of those programs, appreciate the support that you and others have provided to make those possible.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to keep telling that story of how it's really making a difference for our farmers, for our growers, for our ranchers.
Yeah, just think we don't have to ship those soybeans to China or some other country, and we
Exactly.
can use them right here. I mean, we're solving so many issues. Check the box by, and
Right.
yeah, this is stuff that sometimes we take for granted,
Hmm.
and just need to get the story out there. I, as a legislator, need to get that story out there.
Hmm.
You, MSU, need to get that story, and our producers, our dairy producers. I'm
Right.
a vegetable farmer. But yeah, I
Right.
think all of our industries need to align by this and say, hey, this is a
Uh,
story that needs to be told, regardless what you're growing or raising in your business.
right. And you said it, Farmer Raj and Senator Raj are both really passionate about agriculture. What insight can you provide us, not only Michigan State University, but also our farmers and agriculture community, to know about the discussions that you have with your colleagues at the legislative level around agriculture? What's the key to success? We talked about this already. What kind of information can we collectively as a whole provide for you to help really emphasize the importance of the great work that uh, Michigan's University, the land grant institution, MSU, actually does on behalf of agriculture?
One is, I would say, don't stereotype.
Okay.
I look at the legislative body and I'm very enthused that regardless, you might be from a rural area, you might be from an urban area, the passion is there. And sometimes I even discovered from uh, urban area, sometimes there's even a higher interest because, uh, you know, I find myself as Farmer Raj going to Lansing and being Senator Victory. I'm probably could be the smartest person in the room when it comes to agricultural thing, which is not correct. I mean, and I need to even learn to listen. And but others, they they're just eager to learn and don't take it for granted that just because they might be from an urban community, they don't have an interest. And I think the script has been flipped, especially in the last 10 years, because of food awareness. Food is health, food is medicine. I
Mhm.
mean, this is the new narrative. We have a new audience out there with a legislative body at the state level and federal level. There is a keen interest, and this is going to be on the forefront. We're looking at healthcare costs, how they're escalating. You know, one remedy for healthcare costs is what we can do at MSU and Michigan farms by providing a healthy nutritional diet for the folks out there and just and educating the folks out there of the benefits of eating the stuff that's grown in Michigan with our diversity crops. And so I think the opportunity is huge. And what's unique, there's a audience in the elected body that's eager to hear the message.
Yeah, you hit on a really important point, Senator. The concept of food as medicine. And, that is an area where agriculture brings so much to the table, but we got to change our strategy to kind of communicate the importance. If you look at the national level of funding in DC, the federal government invests more on an annual basis into the institutes of NIH that are focused on research on hypertension and diabetes than the entire budget for USDA. And while these are important
Mm-hmm.
diseases and we have to provide the treatments, the options for people who are afflicted by those diseases, and I'm not a poster child for eating healthy in any way, I can improve myself. But think about if we
Mm-hmm.
invested a portion of those dollars into nutrition and communicating the impact on eating healthy and making it easier for people to eat healthy and making healthy food more accessible, we could do so much in terms of prevention and really making citizens in this country healthy again through research, through extension, and a whole host of venues directly tied to agriculture.
Mhm. George, 100%. I believe we have siloed our approach on the research, and we need to remove that siloed approach and things that we're doing at the land grant university at Michigan State could change the narrative throughout the nation. I mean, we have the resources there, and we were talking about what you just say, what they're spending at the federal level for hypertension. A lot of that, I mean, we're all individuals. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to play
Mhm.
that area, but common sense says, you know what, a lot of that comes from what we consume and eat. And remember that all starts at our farms. If we
Mhm.
can start to making sure that we align that, and then we go right back to our beginning conversation. How do we get our young people involved with agriculture?
Right.
Well, we can start solving the health issues of not just here in Michigan, but the nation and the world. That gives another new excitement for those people who want to enter the role of agriculture and an economic opportunity too.
Yeah, right. Right on, Senator. I have the pleasure at MSU of leading the research enterprise for the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources and a significant portion of the
Mhm.
university in the areas of agriculture and food systems and the environment. And I'm a firm believer that research for the sake of research is a waste of taxpayers' money. it needs to be tied to real world solutions, whether it's in the short term when sometimes we can solve problems in the span of a few years, like some of the projects supported by Michigan Alliance for Animal Agriculture and Project Green, which are geared towards immediate problems. Sometimes it takes decades, but that is the importance of research going forward. So we remain committed to doing work that will make a difference and working in strong partnership with my good buddy Quentin Tyler and our friends in MSU Extension who have the responsibility to get the information out to the people who can use it and apply it on their farms and their operations to really, really make a difference. So, Senator, I know you also mentioned the importance of the next generation in agriculture, and you've been such a strong proponent, and you were a strong proponent in helping that $53 million investment in infrastructure on behalf of Michigan agriculture in facilities at Michigan State University, which will allow us to solve problems facing agriculture in the future, the greenhouses and the new dairy facility. And both of those facilities are going to be really critical to attracting that next generation to careers in agriculture, along with the great work we're going to do in terms of solving problems. So I just want to personally thank you for your support and all you did to make that happen. There's a lot of interest in the new dairy facility, over 50 students employed already. Interest has gone absolutely through the roof, and we're committed to doing a lot of great work. The first research project is actually getting ready to be teed up there. So we're going to be off and running and doing great work on behalf of the industry. And so, thank you for what you did to make that possible.
Well, there's some exciting times ahead at MSU, and when those projects, I mean, these are once in generational projects we see taking place, and I just it's one of those things that I drive by. I'm thinking, yes, we moved the needle. It was a collaborative work. I tell you what, it was not easy. The when I heard the initial ask, I'm thinking, what? Can you repeat that? But we aligned ourselves with all the stakeholders and worked hard, and amazing things occurred. So it's good to see. I still
Yeah,
pinch myself when I drive by those facilities.
I do too, Senator. And, it really is a testament, again, to what makes Michigan agriculture special. The partnerships and the entire ag community rallied behind both of those important investments. And, a whole lot of people downtown in the legislature, including
Mm-hmm.
yourself and others, and too many to list individually, really helped make it happen. So we're
A
getting
team
close.
effort, a
A team
true team
effort,
effort.
a team effort. For sure, for sure. So we're getting close to the end of our time, and I know it's been a great conversation. I want to leave you with the opportunity to provide any parting thoughts, words of wisdom, advice as we kind of wrap up this conversation. And I know your perspective will be about the importance of agricultural research, and the issues we described will be of great interest to our listening audience for these podcasts.
Well, I'm thinking the opportunity is amazing. I just you know, I seen the journey. I remember having meetings 15 years ago. I served on a number of different boards, and I just see the attitude has changed. The narrative has changed out in discussions when we're talking about MSU, Michigan State University, and the research and this and that. And it's there again. I think it was a team effort how we got to where we're at today. And because of that, you see the new investments into these facilities. And with these facilities, now we can bring in new researchers. I've been meeting some folks, and I've had opportunity to travel the world here in a number of different areas. I mean, from Taiwan, Israel to Netherlands, and many different times MSU comes up, especially with agricultural related. And that's where I want to continue to see that Michigan State is a game changer here in the state of Michigan, a game changer in our nation, but also a game changer when it comes to on the worldwide area because of the issues we've been discussing in this podcast. These issues are critical for our future, no matter where you live in this world. And I think if we go green and go white, we can make a real difference for the entire world.
Right there with you, Senator. The future's bright. We're all committed to that cause, and we're going to continue to work together and do great work that really make a difference for Michigan and beyond. So really
And on top
appreciate
of
your
that,
time.
we got to hold ourselves accountable too for these dollars. I got to,
No
we can
doubt. Yep.
yes, and I know that we will. So it
We
is
will
awesome. Thank you.
absolutely. We're going to deliver in a big way. We're all committed to that. Absolutely. All right, Senator, we thank you for your time and look forward to visiting with you again.
I'm looking forward to that too. And it's been an enjoyable conversation.